Well, vowing a fight, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pledging to hold a vote in the Senate on codifying Roe v. Wade. Joining me now is Republican Senator of Indiana, Mike Braun. Good to see you, Senator. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be on.
Could such a vote pass if you still have the filibuster intact?
No way. You need 60 votes, and we get asked the same thing. Will we put out some type of legislation to codify something federally? That's mostly just the parlor games out here, David, that get played. What has occurred, though, with this leak is that, first of all, they'll find out forensically who did it. That's not going to be hard to do. Senator Cruz, Lee, and Hawley talked about that today at lunch. So first time it's ever occurred as well. But this is mostly grandstanding in a way. I think when you look at what's happening politically to Schumer here in the Senate, Pelosi in the House, and Biden mostly causing all of it, this is something I think they think politically that can maybe rejuvenate what looks to be like a tough midterm.
Yeah.
And the idea of getting legislation across here, hardly anything gets passed. And thank goodness we got the filibuster, because we'd have a lot of craziness that would have descended upon us, you know, here over the last year.
Well, and just to put a final nail in it, Senator Manchin again today said that he backs the filibuster. So you don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster, let alone to pass this, right?
Exactly. So that's mostly posturing that doesn't make sense, but they'll message it, they'll hype it, hopefully fire up their base.
What does your gut tell you about how this leak happened?
You know, I think it was, could have been a lone wolf, a clerk that, you know, figured, well, I can do this and maybe I'll save the country. Whether it goes any deeper than that, we'll find out. It came off a printer, and, you know, it is a place where there's a lot of security and cameras in place. And same senators thought it won't be hard to figure out who the culprit was.
Worst case scenario, if a justice was involved in the leak somehow, getting the leak to somebody, I mean, is that grounds for impeachment?
That'd be one of the biggest scandals in the history of the country at the Supreme Court. And I'd be very surprised if that were the case. So I think it's going to end up being an over-exuberant clerk, but I'm almost certain we're going to find out.
Now, how all this shakes out, nobody knows, but how will the issue itself affect the midterms, if at all?
You know, I think that obviously it's an issue that divides the country. I've been fairly clear. Send it back to the states. The states have been legislating in one way or another to try to, you know, peck away at Roe versus Wade and Casey. And the Roe case, I think, was 7-2. Casey was 5-4. This one looks like it could be 5-4. So it's evolving in a way that should evolve when it's divided a country as much as it has over 49 years.
You know what else is evolving? We talked about this earlier, is medical science. And the fact is a lot of babies that are being aborted, in the past, they would have died if they had been delivered rather than aborted. But nowadays, you have preemies, you know, that some states are saying, geez, maybe we shouldn't allow the abortion of a baby this young because they could survive without the mother.
How often have you heard the refrain from the other side of the aisle, pay attention to the science? That's the hypocrisy that is so inherent to this place. It makes a common sense kind of business guy like me sometimes just shake my head, because yes, pay attention to the science. COVID, when Johns Hopkins came out with a study that said lockdowns and shutdowns didn't affect mortality, you didn't hear a peep out of the other side. And by the way, you haven't heard a comment out of Schumer, Pelosi, or Biden about the leak itself.
That's right.
It's almost like that is legit.
No, they're avoiding it. They're avoiding it. I mean, they've been asked specifically, starting with the president, about the leak, and they won't answer. I want to quickly get on to one other issue that I know gets under your skin, the idea of Democrats prodding President Biden to just eliminate $1.6 trillion in debt. Is that thing ever going to amount to anything? Does the president have that power?
He could, through executive order. Of course, he's kind of dumbed that down from 50,000 to 10,000. that's still a lot of money. And by the way, most Americans that will be paying for it don't even have a college degree. It also begs the question, David, how has education ended up costing so much in that it probably needs to be reformed? Maybe turn to Mitch Daniels at Purdue, who at a major institution is held in tuition flat for 9 years. We need to look at solving these problems, not creating huge debts and then forgiving them. That's a bad business practice.
Well, and you don't want relatively poor folks to subsidize middle class and wealthy folks who've got a good degree. All right, Senator Braun, great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Well.